Yo, how's it going, guys? Welcome to the next episode. Today we're gonna be taking a look at the Teamfight Tactics Season 3 tier list and the guide. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, the first thing we're gonna talk about is the tier list and how to synergize like your champions. So, for the S tier, we're gonna have sorcerers. We're gonna have star guardians that are like in a great synergy with the sorcerers, because look, you have Zoe, you have Ari, and you have Syndra here. It's already 3-star guardians, so that's a bonus, and they all are sorcerers, so that's a great combo because you get 3 mana just by having sorcerers, so that's really good. For the another S tier buff is Make Pilot. So basically, Make Pilot is S tier just because you don't do it as a main class, but it's really good because it just makes your like you see in the lower left corner what are mech pilots. Basically, the mech pilots just fuse together in one Garen. He has his ultimate as a spell, and basically, if the Garen dies, like they are melted, so they just jump out of the mech, and also the Garen gets their items, and yeah, this is a great synergy. Like the mech pilots, they have a great synergy with the sorcerer build, just because you have 3 spots and the sorcerers upgrade your spell damage, spell power, so the Garen's ultimate is gonna be way stronger and he gets 3 mana, so that's a good combo. And you have also one more S tier like origin class, which is the Blade Master class, and it's basically like one of your main classes. This is the one that you wanna like base your build on, and it's in a like higher side of the cheat sheet, as you can see. So basically you just do Yasuo as a kind of tank with Shen. You don't take Xayah at all because you don't need like all Blade Masters. You can leave one, so you leave Xayah because she's really bad. You use Kale or Master as a hyper carry. Another S tier class, like the class is the Mercenary class, which and the Valkyrie class also. Those are 2 classes, and basically what they do is basically the Mercenary class lets you upgrade your items by like buying them in the shop, and the Mercenary class gets the Gangplank and the Misfortune. So like Gangplank gets the upgrade for his ultimate, and MF also gets upgrade for her ultimate, like more damage, bigger range, a shield. Yeah, and the Valkyrie is basically a buff that all your attacks and spells crit targets below 50% health, so it's really good for that MF ultimate, for that Kale fire wave. It's really good to combo. Okay, so for the A tier we have Rebels, which are really strong, but you need 6 Rebels for them to be like good late game. And honestly, they're not the best class, but they're really good anyway, so that's why they take the A class. Another A class is Celestial, basically lifesteal, but you don't take it as your base origin because 6 Celestials aren't gonna be the best class, so you go with like 2 or 4 maximum. Another A tier buff is a Chrono, so it's a really good buff, really underrated, but you really have to like know what you're doing to do Chrono. Like if you go Sorcerer Chrono, even though like Ezreal is a great sorcerer, it's not gonna work. You can do Fresh Sorcerer even though Fresh is a Chrono, so that's harder to do, but Chronos are an A tier because they're really strong, just you need to learn them when you can use them. Another A tier class, we have 3 A tier origins, which are Dark Star. Basically when your like one Dark Star champion dies, you just do upgrade the other one's damage and it stacks up. And basically what Dark Star build is that you basically try to keep Lux alive because she's really strong, but like the most important person of the team should be Jean, which basically one-shots everyone, so you need like Mordekaiser to you need Karma to shield your Jean and Lux, You need the Mordekaiser and Jarvan to tank like the enemy team, and the Jhin will clean up everyone. The last A class origin is the Void. Basically, what Void does is basically your damage, you deal true damage. Basically, you don't deal magic or physical damage, and that's pretty good because it's quite strong and it's really easy to do. Like 2 champions, that's not really that hard. For the A class classes, you get the infiltrators that are really good, like because it's like not just the buff, because the buff is like quite good, but it's not the best. But the units in infiltrators like are so good. Like Kha'Zix isn't the strongest unit, but Kai'Sa has the Valkyrie, so she's good to buff up Kayle if you have one. You have FaZe, which is a mech pilot, and he's really strong. And the best, basically the best unit out of those is the Echo, which you really can squeeze into any team. He's gonna work well. So try him out in a few normal games and check him out. He's really strong. The another A tier class is the blaster and the sniper. So basically, as you can see, there's 10% on snipers, but actually it's already buffed on the PB server and it's already 12%. So it's gonna get buffed and it's not about the class because the class is quite good, but like later on, so like you can get quick like Jean Caitlyn, but later on you sell Caitlyn in order for Ashe, because the like you basically play for Jean. It's the sniper darkstar combo. Basically you play for Jean, so you sell Caitlyn and you take the Ashe for the utility because she has her ultimate, so she can stun everyone. So that's why the sniper class is an A tier. Another A tier class is the blaster. So basically it's so that every 4 attacks you do additional attacks, and when you have 2 blasters you do 2 additional attacks, and when you have like four blasters you do 5 additional attacks which deal double damage. So basically the combo you're gonna be looking for is or MF and Jinx or Lucian, or like basically you want 3 champs for the blaster class. You want 3 champions to look out if you wanna play blasters: Lucian, Jinx and Miss Fortune. So like Graves is awful, don't play him, he's really bad. And Ezreal is good, but he doesn't really work well as a blaster. He's better like when added to like a sorcerer team or you know, or a Star Guardian team. That's how it is basically. So another A tier class is Demolitionist, and basically your spell is stun, and it's an A class because it's basically a free buff. You don't really have to work that hard because Gangplank is really good late game if you don't know what to do. It gives you that free stun on his ultimate, which basically stuns the enemy team. You can upgrade the ultimate so it deals some damage actually. So yeah, so it's the A class. So I don't count, so like let's go to the B class. I don't count the Aurelion Sol class as a class because it's basically just him. It's like Singed. Aurelion Sol is quite bad actually right now, so I would go for him for like B or C tier, but I'm not gonna rate him anywhere because he's like the only unit in class, and basically this buff doesn't do anything. It's just the balance change for him, so he is what he is. So for the B tier, I would recommend you to check out Mystics, and Brawlers also. So the Brawlers are good, but not so as good as the first season Brawlers. So Cho'Gath is quite good, but he's not that good. The Vi is quite like, the Vi is the counter pick. So if you see a Jhin in an enemy team, definitely go for Vi or a Blitzcrank. This is a good combo for Jhin. Yeah, like the Brawler is quite good, but you need to counter the enemy teams in order to make it good. So that's why he's only B tier. Another B tier class is the Mystics. Basically it's a support class. So like it's a buff that it's basically free. You maybe want add one unit and you get the buff, but it's not like the strongest buff in the game. Some magic resist is cool, but not really that special. Okay, so I think we covered everything, did we? Okay, so for the C class, this is the worst, like the C tier. This is the worst tier I would count right now. I would count protectors, just because the highest cost protector is a goddamn free cost Nico, and Nico isn't like the best unit. So like the units are bad and the buff is quite not nice too. The vanguards basically maybe somehow good early game, but later on they fall out when you like the Jin gets the last whisper, or you just go play against mages, which is really common because it's mage right now. So yeah, and the last classes, two classes we have are the mana reavers and the space pirates. So basically, space pirates are like meh the buff, because like it's basically one coin 50%, which is quite bad, but whatever, like some money in the game, you could use that. So it's kind of good like debuff, because you can drop an item if you like drop a killing blow. That's 10% chance, but in order to do that you need 4 space pirates, which include the 5 cost gangplank, and by the time you get gangplank you really don't need that item, you really don't need to get better like your team, you just need to polish it up a bit. And the units are like quite bad, so like gangplank is fine, GAC is awful, Graves is literally the worst unit in the game, and Darius is like okay, because he basically can one-shot the whole team if he like doesn't die quick enough, but most of like 90% of the time he dies before he kills somebody with the ultimate, so that's why he's C tier. Okay, so the last C tier class we're gonna cover here is the mana reavers. So basically why they are C tier is because like you can say there's plenty of like nice units, like if you build well Irelia is good, if you like Thresh is a great unit, but you build Thresh not for the buff, you build Thresh because he's got a great spell, yeah. So like you really like don't want to you really like don't want to go for the buff on Thresh, because the buff is so awful. Like imagine having to build 40 units, like including the 4 cost and the 5 cost unit, just to increase the cost of the enemy of the target spellcast. And you can say that's a counter pick to sorcerers, isn't it? But it doesn't really matter, because the sorcerers most of the time later on, because it's a late buff, because that's what they say, 4 and 5 cost units, they have a mech pile, 3 mech pilots, and it's gonna really tank it up, and like that's a waste of four buffs, and like really going for those is not a good idea. Like Aurelia has a great Blade Master class, Fresh is basically a great unit, Darius and Constantine are quite bad, so I wouldn't recommend using them, and the buff is really awful. I think the main reavers are like the worst unit in the game. The second ones are space pirates, and the best units in the game is, I would count as a first place 2 buffs, because you mostly always do 2 of those like in one build. Sorcerers and Star Guardians are the best buff, and the second 2, like the mech pilot is second place I think, because it's really good and you can do it with sorcerers. And the third best like class buff is the Blade Master buff, just because it can really hit you hard if they get that 50% chance to hit 2 extra times. It's really useful. Basically if like you are a Blade Master and your Irelia lags out a bit, then you can basically auto attack, spam Q and beat everyone. If you have some items that can heal you, and like the gauntlet is really good on Aurelia because she can spam spells. So yeah, that's for the TF Teamfight Tactics Season 3, the Galaxies, cheat sheet and the guide and tier list. So thank you guys for watching, see you in the next episode, bye.